¿Qué pasa, YouTube? What's up? How's it going, everybody? Have for y'all today one crazy Uber's Wi-Fi battle, as you can see from the length of today's video. So if you guys do enjoy it, make sure to hit that like button down below and answer the common question of the day if you want to support the channel. So go ahead, sit back, relax, pop a cold one, grab a drink, grab your dinner, your breakfast, whatever you want to snack on, because this game is going to be going back and forth quite a bit. So I'm using a pretty cool team that I got from the amazing mode that I actually did do a showdown live with last week. So I'll leave a link to that showdown live in the description if you guys want to see this team in action a bit more. But going into this battle, the biggest threats I saw on my opponent's side of the field were going to be easily the potential Mewtwo and the Primal Groudon, because if I lose my answers to Primal Groudon, switching into that is going to be a pain. And then late game, Mewtwo being either Life Orb, Calm Mind, or Mewtwo Y could be a humongous issue to deal with. Mewtwo X could be a little bit more manageable, but mainly Mewtwo Y or just Life Orb offensive Mewtwo in general is what I was mainly worried about. But at the same time though, Dragon Dance Mega Salamence just kind of wrecks through his team depending on what variant of Mewtwo and Arceus he is running. So I'm going to be leading off with my Yveltal, as he ended up leading off with his Dialga. I make the aggressive switch directly into my bulky Necrozma Dusk main form, because I should be able to live anything he wants to go for, as he does make the safe play and going straight for the Stealth Rocks, as this turn I will be able to go ahead and get out my own Stealth Rocks. So now I can kind of even out the playing field and not have to worry about me being the only one pressured to potentially defog later in this match, because there's a good chance that he could have defog on either his Giratina or his own Arceus form, as he brings in the Primal Groudon. I don't want to switch directly into my Kyogre because I am a minus defense nature, so I do end up making the safe switch here into my Salamence, completely expecting him to go for a Fire Stab move or a Ground Stab move, as he does go for the Precipice Blade. This will not allow me to go for the Earthquake, just trying to get off a little bit of chip damage. And the reason why I didn't want to Mega Evolve this early on in the battle was because I wanted to take advantage of the Intimidate, because as I mentioned, if I can put myself in the correct position and I can get up a Dragon Dance with my Salamence, I could easily just sweep through his team late game. So that Intimidate drop could be very beneficial to me later in this battle. As he does switch directly into his Dialga here, he does end up taking the Earthquake because he did have a Shuka Berry, and I really don't want to risk him potentially being able to live another Earthquake. So I'm going to make the safe switch directly back into my Necrozma Dusk main form here. And I want to apologize right now if I end up calling this Necrozma Solgaleo. Like, if you guys watch the showdown live in Ubers, I have such an urge to call this form of Necrozma Solgaleo, because it's literally just Solgaleo with Necrozma's armor. So yeah, I want to say right now, I'm sorry if I mispronounce the name, or if I just misname this Necrozma form. So he ends up bringing in his Primal Groudon here, as I believe I ended up switching into my Arceus Ground here. And because I am faster than him, I'm thinking there's no way he's going to risk staying in here to take a Ground Stab Judgment, right? No, this man with no fear stays in and goes for the Precipice Blade, actually doing a really good amount of damage to me. And that did kind of worry me. At the same time though, I felt like I could just be aggressive here and go straight for my Ground Stab Judgment, potentially being able to knock him out depending on his spread. At least that's what I was thinking at the time, but I'm pretty sure that Primal Groudon could have honestly lived any one hit I wanted to go for. So realistically, what I should have done here was 100% gone for the recover. So this might have been just a really bad play on my part now that I look at it, but I mean, hindsight is 2020, and there's not much I can do about it now. I mean, I guess the good thing is that I am able to get off a little bit of damage on the Primal Kyogre, and at the same time I can still recover up on his own Arceus type, potentially his Giratina, and even the Dialga. So I'm going to switch directly here into my Primal Groudon, because typically anytime your opponent has a Primal Kyogre and you have a Primal Groudon, 9 times out of 10 you're going to be switching in to Primal Groudon, because that is usually your answer to any type of water stab move in Primal Groudon's reign. So he does end up making the good play there and going for the Ice Beam, as this turn I'm actually going to go for the Toxic, expecting him to want to bring in the Giratina, but he actually ends up switching directly into his Arceus, which turns out to be Arceus normal. And the fact that I'm able to get off the Toxic is actually really nice, because now I can put this potential SD Extreme Killer on a timer, and I won't have to worry as much about it, as I'm going to make an aggressive switch here into my Salamence, honestly thinking that he would go for the Swords Dance. This way I could only keep him at +1 physical attack as opposed to +2 physical attack, but he goes for the Earth Power, and the fact that he could be specially offensive Arceus has me terrified of him possibly carrying the Ice Beam. So I'm going to switch here into my Necrozma, as he actually switches out into his Dialga. So now I'm thinking maybe he doesn't have the Ice Beam, so this is something that I could keep in mind for later in this battle. Actually, especially offensive normal Arceus is something I don't think I've ever seen in Ubers, so playing around that could be a little bit of a problem, as this turn he is going to make a good play in going straight for his rocks, being able to get them up again as they were defogged away earlier. And I believe I do just end up going straight for the Judgment this turn again, although I think I actually go for the Recover, because this was definitely my best opportunity to go for the Recover, because if he did stay in with the Dialga to go for the Draco Meteor after the Recover, I would have been able to live the Draco Meteor, and then I would have been able to recover off the damage again, because he would have been on -2, he would have been doing less damage to me. So yeah, recovering there was definitely the best play I could have gone for. As this turn, I'm going to make the safe switch directly back into my Primal Groudon, because I don't really have anything that can safely switch into this Kyogre. Like, I mean, yeah, I have my own Kyogre, but if he predicts that and he goes for the Thunder, then that's going to put me in a very, very bad spot. So again, just switching directly into my Primal Groudon here was the best play I could have made, as it turns out that I am able actually to outspeed him and get off a good chunk of damage with the Precipice Blade before he knocks me out with one final Ice Beam. This will now give me a free switch back into my Salamence here, and I am going to go ahead and just Mega Evolve here. The main reason why I did this was because I felt that I didn't have anything else on my team that could have been able to knock out this Primal Kyogre at this amount of HP, and I honestly did not want to risk him being a Rest Talk variant of Kyogre. So by Mega Evolving right away, I could guarantee not only knocking out this Kyogre, but if for some reason he did want to switch out, whatever came in was still going to be taking a huge amount of damage from an Aerialate boosted Double Edge. As in comes the Dialga, I don't want to risk my Earthquake not knocking him out, and knowing that I could still potentially sweep with my Salamence later in this match, I'm going to make the safe switch directly here back into my Arceus ground, as he makes a bit of an odd play in going for the Stealth Rocks. Now in this battle, Taunt made 2 or 3 very questionable plays, and that was one questionable play that I think he actually did tell me he misclicked on the Stealth Rocks there. He did actually want to go for an offensive move, but I mean, that's fine, because I could have then just gone for the defog if he did go for the Draco Meteor or the Flash Cannon, and still have been able to go for the defog here. So yeah, I'm not sure if that misclick really ended up mattering entirely too much, as he ended up bringing in his Mewtwo here. I do not want to take an Ice Beam with my Arceus ground, so I'm going to make the safe switch here directly into my Primal Kyogre, which should be able to live an Ice Beam followed up by a Side Strike, as he actually does turn out to be Mewtwo Y. And this thing, as I mentioned earlier, is actually going to be very, very terrifying, because if my team gets too weakened and I'm not able to get off enough damage on the Mewtwo, it can honestly just beat me late game. So I have to be very, very careful around that Mewtwo Y, as he's going to switch this turn into his Primal Groudon. The main reason why I went for the Liquidation was because I did not want to play any games with that Mewtwo Y. Going for the Earthquake would have been very safe for me to have done so, but if he did stay in with the Mewtwo Y, risking that, he would have been able to 2-hit KO me with 2 Side Strikes, and that was not something that I felt that I could have honestly risked. So that's why I did want to go for the Liquidation, as I followed up with an Earthquake. Turns out that he's got the Hammer Arm, which is again something I've never seen on Primal Groudon. And I'm sorry for a little bit of lag here. The rest of the match is perfectly fine though, I promise. So yeah, I'm not sure why he's got Hammer Arm on Primal Groudon. I feel like a Sun boosted Fire move or even Precipice Blade would still be doing more damage to any type of steel or normal type in the Uber's tier. But hey, you never know what some people are going to end up running, and you can't knock it until you try it. So he does end up bringing in his Giratina here as I make a safe switch directly into my physically defensive Yveltal. I should be able to live anything that this thing wants to go for. The only main issues I have to worry about is the fact that he could potentially have the Toxic or the Thunder Wave. So he does end up going for the Shadow Force, and I should be able to stay in here and either go for the knockoff or even potentially go for the taunt. But being aggressive and going straight for the knockoff, I felt was by far my better play, because there wasn't really much reason for him to stay in with Giratina when he can still save his Giratina to take on my Primal Groudon. Not my Primal Groudon, sorry, but he can still leave this Giratina to potentially deal with my Solgaleo. So he does end up bringing in his Arceus normal form here, as I'm going to make the safe switch right back into my Necrozma, expecting him to just want to go for the Ice Beam potentially, or maybe even want to go for a Calm Mind or a Recover, as he actually turns out to have the Breakneck Blitz. And this was something I really was just not expecting at all. Like, that completely caught me off guard. I'll be 100% honest with you guys. But the great thing about this is that thanks to Necrozma Dusk main form's ability and Prism Armor, as you can see there, Earth Power does pretty much no damage to me, and I'm gonna be able to recover that off and be brought back up to almost max HP, while this Arceus is still getting slowly but surely worn down by the toxic damage. As this next turn, I know I should be able to live any one move he wants to go for, so I'm going to try and take this opportunity to go ahead and get my Stealth Rocks back up, as he turns out to not only have the Blast Burn, but he gets a crit on me, and that again was something I was not expecting at all. So I'm not sure if that crit really ends up mattering too much, because my Necrozma here is still at a very solid amount of HP, and there's not really much that he has that will really pressure me or that I can't just safely recover up against later in this match. As he brings in the Giratina here, I'm very positive I can live any one hit he wants to go for, so I'm going to take this chance to go for the Morning Sun, as he predicts me to switch out and goes for the Toxic, as he makes another bit of an odd play here. This was his second questionable play, as he goes for the Shadow Sneak. I'm really not sure why he Shadow Sneaked there. Like you guys saw that he was faster than me because he Toxic'd me before I went for the Morning Sun. So I'm not sure if maybe he just wasn't aware of what I was going to possibly do. But I mean, at the same time, even if he had gone for the Shadow Claw, he wouldn't have done much more damage to me. So I doubt that it really would have mattered if he Shadow Clawed there instead of Shadow Sneaking. As I go for the Sunsteel Strike, I do get a little bit lucky and I get a crit, but I honestly don't think that ended up mattering too much, because as you can see from the damage that he's doing to me with the Shadow Claw, eventually I still would have been able to beat this Giratina 1v1 with my Solgaleo here, and still have been able to take it down and not have to worry about it and keep my Necrozma at as much HP as possible. As this turn, he's going to make a direct switch into his Primal Groudon, possibly expecting me to go for another Sunsteel Strike, because realistically, I have no reason to not just go for it. I also don't want to waste all of my Morning Suns at this point in the match, and this is where I finally started to realize that he really has no good answer to my defensive Necrozma Dusk main form, and this could be absolutely huge, because if I can keep my Necrozma at enough HP, his Mewtwo Y in the back will not be able to beat me 1v1, but I'm not sure how much damage I'll be able to do to him with my Sunsteel Strike, because I am defensive. So Mewtwo Y is still a giant problem, as he ends up missing a Precipice Blade there. That was very unfortunate, but it is 85 accuracy, and eventually he would have missed. I'm not sure if that would have changed too much in this battle. Like, if he had hit me with the Precipice Blade here, then this Ice Beam, I think, actually would have been able to knock me out, so I wouldn't have been able to get off this damage with the Judgment. But again, I'm not entirely too sure how much him missing really would have changed the outcome of this battle, as I'm able to get off a good amount of damage on the Mega Mewtwo Y as he knocks me out with a second Ice Beam. I will be able to bring in my Yveltal here because I am a bulky variant of Yveltal, even though I will not be faster than this Mewtwo Y. As long as he does not crit me or freeze me, I should be able to knock him out with a knockoff, and there's honestly no reason that I shouldn't just knock off here. If I wanted to predict him to switch out, whatever came in was still going to be taking decent damage from the knockoff as I catch the incoming Dialga here. This is perfectly fine by me because I am going to try to take this chance to go straight for the taunt, because typically Dialga in the Uber's tier are max HP, max special attack. The reason I didn't stay in turn 1 and taunt him was because I didn't want to risk him potentially being a Z move and being able to just straight Oko my Yveltal at the same time, as he could have also just been possibly timid max speed or like jolly max speed. So at this point I'm very convinced that he wasn't going to be faster than me, which is why I did take the chance to go for the taunt, as he then goes for the Draco Meteor. With him being at -2, this will now allow me to safely go for the Roost and try to keep my Yveltal at as much HP as possible, because as long as I stay at above 80-ish%, I should still be able to live one Ice Beam coming from the Mega Mewtwo Y. But he does crit me there, which I'm not gonna lie was just a little bit annoying, but honestly does not end up mattering entirely too much. And I mean, if you get hacks in general, you're gonna be annoyed. Like, that's part of Pokemon, and it's something that at this point you have to understand. And honestly, man, I've been playing this game for so long, but hacks still just find some way to just get on my nerves, and it's just something that I really just have to get over. So yeah, the crit there really doesn't matter whatsoever because he actually ended up going for the Stealth Rocks. If he had been aggressive and kept spamming Flash Cannon, that actually might have been a little bit of an issue, because he would have been able to keep my Yveltal at the point where this Mewtwo Y would have been able to come in and knock me out with an Ice Beam, and then at that point it would have come down to whether or not my defensive Dusk main Necrozma was going to be able to live a Fire Blast, and then if he crit me with that Fire Blast, he actually would have just won this game, because the rest of my team would have been at too low of HP to where it would have actually been able to safely live any move coming from the Mega Mewtwo Y. So even though I did win 4-0 in this battle, I really feel like this was a game that was a lot closer than a 4-0, because at any moment when Mewtwo Y came in, it could have honestly just wrecked through the remainder of my team. So I still personally think this was a really good game. Definitely a fun battle, good game to taunt. If you guys did enjoy the video, make sure to hit that like button down below and answer the comment question of the day. Hopefully you guys did stick around for the very lengthy, crazy Uber's battle. If you guys actually watched the whole thing, please let me know in the comment section below, because it's battles like this that I feel like you guys may not be entirely too interested in, but it's those games where even though they are extremely long, it's still like there's still a lot of thought process going into the plays and being able to find a way to win the battle, if you guys get what I'm trying to say. So yeah, with that being said, I'll see you all tomorrow with 2 more uploads, and yeah, later everybody. I need to find some way to like end these videos. I always feel like I say later too many times to end these videos. I don't know, it's something I've been trying to work on. So just yeah, thank you all for watching, guys. I'll see y'all tomorrow. So later everybody.
No matter where you're at, I'm not here to make friends, it's time to attack and deplete your HP with a final smash. Don't make me turn around and pull a 6-foot hacks. 6-foot hacks, yeah. 6-foot hacks, yeah. 6-foot hacks,